Rhok!
Hi everybody, how you doing?
Okay, so like on my last video I put out, I mentioned something that every time I briefly mention this in a video, gets a bunch of comments and a bunch of people who just, I guess they think I'm lying. Away from a guy on a Harley. And what it is when I mentioned how insurance for me was $1,000 a month when I had my R1. And they like, people are like, you mean a year, right? Well, listen, no, I mean a month. And people just, they always love fucking telling me what their rate is on their R1 or some shit like that, and how that doesn't make any sense. But like, I wouldn't just make that up. There's no reason to make that up. Like, that's what it actually was. This guy's giving me a peace sign. Or is it a lady? She grabbed her tit. Young chicks don't care about wheelies and shit. Old ladies grabbed her boob like she was gonna whip it out. I'm sure it was an older tit, but I would have looked. So let me explain though why my insurance was $1,000 a month. I'll even explain why that made sense, and if anything, why it was an underestimate on what it should have costed. I had an 05 R1. It was brand new. This was April or something of 05. So this bike was like $10,000 on the floor, that's what they were back then. Liter bikes were a lot cheaper. Now they cost way more money. I like left there spending like 12 that day. You know how it is. They always tack on a bunch of shit, and I think I added frame sliders or something, and taxes a lot on it. Yeah, I think a lot of that was just tax. I'm young. I'm at a very predictable age to wreck or do something irresponsible at 19. I'm still fucking a teenager technically. Or no, I was 20, wasn't I? I always say I was 19, but I guess I was 20. Brand new, shitload of power for a young kid who's only had an M-class license for like 6 months or something. Also, bike theft is extremely high in the area I live in. On top of there's all the other dumb shit that I might wreck it might get stolen. I was living in Dallas County at the time. I was living in Richardson, if you know where that is. Dallas County just had a higher rate of bike theft than most of the nation at the time. There was literally like task force teams that were made not long after my bike was stolen just to try to go after people, not for regular Grand Theft Auto, just on motorcycle Grand Theft Auto. They had like a specific task team just to do that. Like, they even found some dude's house. It was like all hollowed out. Like, he had taken the fucking center walls out and shit, and like supported the house on 4x4s, the roof and shit, and just packed it like sardines, you know, without kickstands, just bikes all in there from stolen bikes. Bike theft was fucking rampant in the area. And make it even worse, the R1, particularly the Raven Black R1, was one of the most stolen motorcycles out there. It was stolen so much, in fact, that like within 2 weeks or something of my bike being stolen, there was a article in one of the Dallas papers with a Raven Black R1 on the front cover, and it was talking about motorcycle theft, and they had used that as an example because of that bike in particular was just going nuts. They were losing one a day. And Yamaha's idea of a rare color, which is what they said that was when I bought it, is really not a rare color at all. God, it's a bit windy, isn't it? Rare to Yamaha means the one we made the most of. That particular bike is just being stolen non-fucking stop. I'm also dumb and could possibly wreck it because I'm a very young and inexperienced rider. So the insurance company is in the market to make money. So they said, Jake, we need to charge you $997 a month. In fact, the lady thought it was an error and had to go check when she ran it. That was the best rate I could find because everybody else wouldn't even touch it. And the reason why is just because of how much theft had happened on that bike and how my age statistically stacks up with being on that bike. So you got to think of charging me basically $1,000 a month. If something happened to that bike within the first year, they probably would have to pay out about $8,000. You'd have to figure. If the bike was a 10, retail price, probably at 8. You know, hopefully you get that much. By charging that much money, then I'm gonna have that bike for basically 8 months at most, and something's gonna happen to it. And if that happened within 8 months, they would have broken even. They wouldn't have made any profit. Like I said, insurance companies are in the market to make a profit. They have to gamble in the direction that they win, not you win, as averages all play out with all their different people. Well, if anything, by trying to charge only $997 a month, they're off by about half, because I had that bike for 4 months and it got stolen. If I had had full coverage, they would have only got payments for 4 months and then had to pay out about $8,000. That wouldn't have worked unless they made $8,000 worth of profit, or $8,000 in payments at minimum. And then they still would have had a loss because they made no profit. You know, all the time and money spent for the agent to set everything up, paying me out. I mean, they really would have actually still been at a loss, even if they charged me $2,000 a month. As ridiculous as it sounds to charge somebody $997 a month for insurance on an R1, at the time it made perfect freaking sense. It was correct. This lady looking at me. Hello, lady. I best not try to show off. Every time I try to show off some girls, it's like karma hits me because I'm married and I fucking do something dumb. I mean, I've never looped a bike or anything. It's really only one incident. I crashed a bike coming in on a stoppie at a gas station in front of 4 chicks. I thought I was hot shit until, well, I didn't like crash. I put it on kickstand and it fell over into me and knocked me into the pump. Form of suspension, and we're gonna charge extra for it. Hit the track up, fuck it. Wonder how many Harley guys heard that like long screech up, were like, oh shit. Hey, but on the other end, I went to Supermotos because I was so fucking poor after the whole incident, you know, having to just pay out the money I owed. You know, my grandfather co-signed on it, so I couldn't just let it go. And you can't really let go of shit anyway, even if, you know, the time of the credit or whatever fucking runs out on it. Not really like you can get away from it. Like, they're gonna fucking dog you for that money until you fucking pay them, or I don't know, something. You're not just gonna let that shit go. You know, not ever, ever, ever. Well, I was only paying $80 a year for the DRZ full coverage. I think I pay like $250 a year for the WR, but for fuck's sakes, it's a 2013. So, you know, what are you gonna expect? Anyway, I gotta go get some oil. So he goes, locks are not as good as you think they are. Shit, my brother's not even a fucking locksmith bragging me. Just, my brother figured out how to do combo locks by playing with him. He's really fucking good at it.
Get brave.